Well, this is not an easy one. I've got a job interview tomorrow, and currently I run my own business, a business called Murgs. Do we have any Murgs stuff? Yes, we do. So a business called Murgs, we sell CrossFit and weightlifting equipment. There's no we, it's only me. It's only me. This is the little office I have. And I've been running this business now since 2017, so 8 years in, and I've been full-time for 3. I went full-time just as my twin girls were born, and through the last 3 years, my wife's completed a degree at the same time, and it's been the most stressful 3 years of my entire life. I don't plan to have another 3 years quite that stressful, because that will shorten my existence. And so, yeah, I'm going back to work. And you know what? I'm excited. I am. I'm really excited. The first thing you might be thinking, if you know anything about the business and watching this channel, then you're like, well, John, what's going to happen to the business? Nothing. Well, I say nothing. I'm taking a step back. Personally, I am going to remove myself. And I've done a lot of work over the last 8 years to remove me as a key component. Email flows and automation. There's a third-party fulfillment center, so I'm not shipping orders. There's a few other things and bits and bats like that to remove me from the business. And yeah, it's just time to go back to work. But here's why. So, John, wait. Why are you going back to work? Why would you quit being an entrepreneur to go into traditional employment? There's a few reasons. The first reason, the girls have got to a point now where they're 3.5-ish, and they're going to nursery full-time. At the minute, they go 2.5 or 3 days a week. The bill that we got for this month was £1,500. And you're like, holy shit, yeah, that's real money. And so part of that is me offsetting the childcare costs. You know, I'm around to support mum and do childcare and be part of that. Also, it's a big opportunity to watch your kids grow up. It is literally a once in a lifetime. I am not having kids ever again. And the fact that they're twins, and there's just loads of things. I am not having children again, so I'm glad I've seen the first 3 years, at least. I'm not going anywhere in regards to kids, but when you have a full-time job, you're just out the house more. The other thing, my wife has finished a degree throughout the process. It's been incredibly stressful. And the business, guys, it's just hard work. I think I need a break. I think I need not a break from the business. Not a break from work is where I was going with that. It's not that I don't want to keep doing things. It's just that I don't want to be in a constant state of stress, a constant state of money management, a constant state of, oh, here's your new VAT bill. Oh, here's this. Oh, your hard drive broke. Well, that'll be £400 to fix it, and you've just lost everything on it. I'm a bit tired of the bullshit that comes with running a business. And I know this full well. This is part of running a business. When you sign up to be an entrepreneur, you do not sign up for consistency, regularity, a stable income, a stress-free life. These are not things that come with being an entrepreneur. But they're the primary things at the minute. You see people on the internet and they're making £1 million a month and they look like they're just floating around doing fun stuff. It's like, not the reality for me, shall I say. It's been very hard. It's been very, very hard. And like I say, I'm just excited to get back to work. I'm excited as well to put some of these skills to use to really bring on this new role. Like I say, the interview's tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot. And I feel like there's very few people on the internet that would admit such a thing. I'm not embarrassed about going back to work. I don't sit here and think, oh, I'm a failure. I do a little bit. I'll be honest, straight up. I do a little bit. There's this part of me that was like, wow, you couldn't make it work. But at the same time, I have to be real and look at some of the other examples of businesses that have not worked. There are millions of big, massive businesses that go out of business, that fail, that make a mistake, that mess things up, that just crumble. There are loads. There are loads of rich people that run out of money. I think 50 Cent's pretty good at spending everything he's got. And another good example, the Apple Vision Pro. Do you know anyone who's got one? No, me neither. That was a flop. But it's easier to fail when you've got the backing of billions. It's harder to fail when you need to support a house and a family and nursery fees. And there's just... the risk is there, and people don't realize that. When there's people that have got wealth behind them and they're starting businesses out, it's not only are they skydiving, they've got a reserve chute for the reserve shoot. Those guys cannot hit the floor because they've got so many things in. Like, if you're worth a few million, you'd really struggle to run a business to burn all your money. If you're running a small business by yourself, doing 20 to 30,000 a month, sounds great, but at the same time, a 10 to 20% profit margin, it's like there's not unlimited funds. The bank balance is not massive. I think one failure of the business of Murgs is not enough products that people can come back to. You see a lot of successful brands, clothing, for example. Gymshark, Represent, all these big brands that do clothing, they give people a reason to come back because there's styles, there's trends, there's current this, there's current that, they cycle through clothes to sort of pull you along the road. When it comes to something like knee supports, you don't need 5 pairs of knee sleeves. You just don't. You buy a pair because it's a tool and you go and use them. In the same way that you put 4 tyres on your car, you don't have 4 at home just in case. No, you buy them when you need them, and that's that. But when it comes to clothing, everyone has dozens of items of clothing. So I think that was a problem with the business that could have been improved. Another thing was, I've just not been the best version of me for the last 3 years. That's it. That's the top and bottom of it. It really is. It's been the hardest and possibly the worst 3 years of my life. It's been incredibly stressful. I've struggled with depression and anxiety. I've never really dabbled in those two until I found out, not cool. And it's just been terrible. There's been times when I've felt like giving up on all of it, if you catch my drift. And, well, to speak to that point, I'm glad I didn't. I know that sounds daft, but in the moment when you're feeling really down and really sad and you can't get outdone, that feels like an out. And I feel lucky often that I'm maybe not intelligent enough to not make a permanent decision on a temporary situation, but that's a factor. That really is a factor. So yeah, I've got a job tomorrow lined up. It's a bit of a sales role. I really like selling. I like building relationships with people. I like communicating. I like teaching and educating and partnerships. So I think that's another part of why I want to get back to work. I want to see movement. I sit in this office all day, and sometimes the only thing that moves is me. Like, I don't see any movement all day. There's not even a window in here, so I don't even get any natural light. I don't mind that so much, but when you're, it can get tiring after a little while. So yeah, I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive, I'm excited, and I'm a little sad. I am a little sad. It's a big change, but I feel like if you're strong enough to make the decision to leave your job to work for yourself, you have to know that this may go the other way. You have to be strong enough to go back to work and be like, I gave it a shot. And it's the same with relationships. It's exactly the same. They're so easy to get into, but they can be really emotional and challenging and hard to get out of because you sort of slip in a gradient and then it's like, wow, this is a lot to just stop. Yeah, it is. And it's going to be a big change on my life. And I'm scared. But at the same time, just want to show you guys the truth. This is what happens. This is what we do. This is part of the game, right? And it seems that everyone you watch is just win, win, win. When in reality, there's a lot of us fighting every day to make this happen. And for some it happens, for some it doesn't. And there's part of me as well that's like, it might not necessarily be me. It could be what I was offering. It could be how I was doing it. It could be the current climate, given that sales are down this year for most businesses because people are on holiday and they're doing different things. And this might be the first time people have had a holiday since COVID. You are not going out spending £60 on a new pair of knee supports if you're going on holiday next week for 2 weeks with your 3 kids. You're probably thinking, this is going to be £6,000. I don't need to spend 60 quid now. You're buying holiday things. So yeah, sales have taken a dive, and this is just a bit of a ramble, really. Just a bit of a ramble, just to let you know how I'm thinking and what's going on, because once again, this is the part of owning your own business that nobody ever shares. Anyways, be as patient as you are ambitious. This is the start of something new. It's a new chapter, onwards and upwards. The thing I'm most excited about through this whole process is that the business is going to get more money. The business will just keep the money that it costs for it. Like, I'm the biggest expense. I cost £3,000 a month to that business. Like, it's all right cutting subscriptions for apps on your Shopify store for £30, and it's all right cutting, maybe you've got a big subscription at 150, but a subscription for £3,000 for me, that's a shitload of money. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to have some breathing room. I'm excited for it to just be a hobby. I'm excited for it to be fun again. And I think that'll make the world a difference. Anyway, like I say, it's tomorrow morning. I don't know when this is going up, so we'll check in. I'll give you a heads up, and then I'll show you how to run a business in your spare time. Thank you for watching. Adios.